something
be
like
that.
the
You
man
could
at
be that
all.
nigga stunt brother, bro.
I can't, bro. I can't.
Nah.
I've heard more of that. No, I don't know. I mean, me and my brothers got it bad. It's either the Nick Cannon reference or y'all. What's Buddy name from Everybody Hate
I
Chris?
think his name Tyler James Williams or something like that.
Yeah. See,
Yeah,
I don't even know Buddy name.
bro. This is how I know, right? I was watching a show one time, right? And this nigga, like, I looked at him, I said, that's Joe. That nigga got the deep voice, fucking lengthy body, long arms. That nigga probably built like you, bro. He probably 6'2".
Saying some goofy ass shit.
Bro, nigga look just like you, bro. When you have a shortcut too, bro.
It's Chris. Bro, that was my show too, yo. And yo, Coach Dawn, shout out to Coach Dawn. She used to call me that every day at practice.
Yeah, because you look just like dude.
My goodness, I don't even think she knew my name. Chris!
Yeah.
Chris!
You look just like dude, man. You look just like dude.
Man. Ridiculous. Well, yeah, dirt people, what it do? It's your boy Smoove the Black Kennedy, featuring my man's M DOT. Welcome back to Step Into the Light, so to the mic. What's happening, my boy? How you living, man?
Yeah, what's going on, man? Chilling, man. You know what I mean? Class is about to start up for me, about to start teaching. You know, that's happening. I think my first class is like the 24th, Zoom, criminal law. You know what I mean? So I'm going to educate these young people, older people, whoever it may be, on criminal law and the aspects of it. So I can't wait. I'm looking forward to that. Working in the field of academia. What about you, my guy?
I'm in school.
Yeah.
I started back on the 6th or something. So yeah, I heading into week 2. It's school, you know, everything I've been waiting for, homework and studying and a bunch of long nights of looking at the freaking computer screen, like what the hell's going on? But nah, it's cool. It's actually very interesting. I made sure that I took some classes that was going to like keep me engaged during this first semester.
Right.
You already know history is like one of my favorite subjects. So that right there is already cool in itself. And Buddy is a pretty good instructor thus far. So I'm thankful for that. But other than that, man, you know, we out here dealing with this snow. Time for me to go. I like it.
Yo, you know, it's crazy. I think the South, like past Maryland, is getting hit with more snow than it's been in a while. Like in regards to, I'm not talking about just on one day. I'm talking about just the accumulation of it, like days going in. Like those places are getting hit with snow, and it's becoming more frequent now. Like on a yearly basis, like Atlanta's getting hit with snow damn near every other year. It's crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy.
Who would have thought that?
You know, so I was talking to my granddad a few weeks ago. Excuse me. And you know, we was talking about the weather and stuff like that. But apparently back in the day, down in Chesapeake, it used to snow out there every year.
Whoa.
Yeah, it would snow every year during, you know, the time that it's supposed to snow during winter. So yeah, I mean, he said they went through some winters, but you know, it kind of dwindled off or whatever. But you know, thanks to good old global warming. So
you believe in global warming?
Hell yeah, bro. I believed in it even more when it was, I don't know, like 70 degrees Christmas Day out here.
Yeah, that's wrong.
In Virginia?
Yeah.
Come on, cuz.
I think global warming is a thing, and I think that even if you look like Antarctica and the Arctic, like the polar ice caps are melting, like to extremely fast too. Like that is like polar bears are gonna have to, the next 100 years, they're not gonna be polar bears anymore. They're gonna be evolved to something else because they're not gonna have any environment to hunt, eat, or like sleep or anything like that because their environment is melting. That's drawing.
Yeah, it is.
They're gonna have to adapt.
It's just sad, man. I don't know. I mean, I know. I mean, and I'm not gonna say it's too late, but I think the world has finally caught on to the effects. of global warming, and they're trying to, push for EVs now, or everything becoming electrical, which is cool and all, but y'all probably should have done that like 20 years ago.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I think the technology was there, but I don't think the push for it was there. You gonna get what I'm saying?
The push forward or the resources, in my opinion. I don't know if they'd have been able to push all that stuff out that fast.
I think you got a point, bro.
Maybe.
I think you got a point. I think that, I think you got a good point with that one, because the resources might have not been there, and to get that type of environment, that ecosystem created, it would have to take 20, 30 years to get it to like boom.
Oh yeah.
If you didn't have that Elon Musk money, like Elon Musk, when he started Tesla, they didn't have a lot of those electrical superchargers all available across the country. That started in California, then it transitioned all throughout the United States. That took years and years and years for that ecosystem to be created. So I agree with you. I think that once that ecosystem is created, boom, you implement it. But if it's not there, you can't do nothing with it. Just like with with that hydrogen fuel cell car that runs on water. It runs on water. But it's only out in California. It's only out in California. You can't get it anywhere else. That is dope. But you can't get it anywhere else. You can't get it in any other state, because you won't be able to. There's no other. That fuel capacity, you won't find it anywhere else but California. Ecosystem got to be created.
They're gonna have to do something, man, because
facts.
It's renewable energy is, there's renewable energy, all right, but then the stuff that we use, it's the world is burning it all up.
Yeah,
these natural gases, the freaking oil, burning it all up.
Yeah.
But hey, that's why, you know what? And after seeing the way that the weather has been since I've been back, this isn't going to be the only storm.
No.
I think it's going to be some more drawling ass storms that's going to be coming.
I agree with you.
And this is still kind of like the beginning of winter in a sense, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. February get here, boy. Shit.
Yeah, man. Living on the East Coast, brother. That's what it do. You know what I mean? You see that weather change and all that shit, but you gotta bear with it. But needless to say, we're gonna dive into our topic. We're talking about Martin Luther King Jr. His birthday was on the 15th. Happy birthday to him. We're talking about him, his life, his moments, his accomplishments, his feats, and all those good things. You know what I mean? Because we're doing this in remembrance of him and what he stood for, and the man he was, and how he led us to where we are now as a Black society, and what we are now. So Smoove got some facts he's gonna tie in. I'll include some facts as well. But go ahead, Smoove. Go ahead and break it down, bro.
So yeah, Martin Luther King Jr., who we all love and cherish to this day. Very, very, very monumental person in the civil rights movement. Born in 1929, like Matt said, January 15th. Born in Atlanta. Passed away in 1968, April 4th, Memphis, Tennessee, at the Lorraine Motel. Won the Nobel Peace Prize in 1964. Was arrested at least over 20 times, for standing up for what he believed in. And civil rights, the man was about peace. And that's what he always pushed. Peaceful protesting was one of the main things that, he was noticed for. Unlike his, counterpart at the time, Malcolm X, they were on two different spectrums, but they all fought for the same reasons. You know what I mean? But let's see what else. Oh, fun fact: Martin Luther King Sr., Martin Luther King Jr.'s father, changed his name. I forgot what year they said, but he was originally, or they were both originally, Michael King. And I don't think a lot of people know that, but his name was Michael King. And his father changed his name to Martin Luther because he was inspired by the real Martin Luther out in Germany. For those of you that don't know who Martin Luther is or was, he's a German Protestant leader. He helped, I don't know if he helped, what they did with some type of reform.
Yeah,
Correct me if I'm wrong,
the Protestant Reformation.
There we go. And they did that. So that was big over there. They separated from the Roman Catholic Church, and I think is it Lutheranism or something like that?
Yeah, Lutheran.
Yeah. So anyways, he changed his name to that after going overseas. So anyways, yeah, so that was that. What else, man? What else was something crazy? I'm pretty sure a lot of people are familiar with Bloody Sunday. That was when March took place in March 7, 1965, but state troopers and some countymen attacked the marchers with billy clubs, tear gas, and all that good stuff, and they wouldn't let them pass the county line. So
I think that was very impactful, that march for Selma, because I think that broke a lot of ground with the civil rights movement and was the Montgomery voting. It was the voting, right? They were fighting for the voting rights. I think that broke a lot of ground, and it got a lot of media coverage for the world to see how these people were being treated for fighting for equality when it came to just being able to vote. That's a basic right that we kind of in 2022 we kind of take for granted, right? But these people were fighting in 1965 for that right. You know what I mean? And they don't call it Bloody Sunday for nothing. They got beat down by police, other law enforcement agencies, governmental agencies, just because they wanted to make an impact and a change. And you know, they always say, when you want to make change, not everybody's going to be on board. So a lot of them people weren't on board with the whole voting rights thing and being able for Black people to properly and fairly. So, yeah,
that was some nasty stuff, man.
And it's crazy because it's like, if you did that, if you try to do that now, would people actually want to do that now? Would young Black Americans want to do something like that now is the question. Would you want to walk 54 miles from Selma to Montgomery in the heat, hot, getting beat, dogs sicking on you, hoses? Would you want to do that? Would you do that?
Back in the day, I would.
No, now.
Oh, now?
Like right now.
Ain't nobody gonna go out there with me.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I don't know. I mean, if it's me, would I do it? I think I'm same thing with Smoove. If there's other people doing it, I'm gonna do it. But if I'm just by myself, I don't know, man. It's like a one arm back. Like, can one person really change history? The answer is yes. But as it's right now in today's society, can that happen?
Yeah.
Can one person change history?
Martin King did. Yeah. And you know what? I think it actually can be done. Maybe not a 54-mile walk. I don't know if people gonna do that, but I mean they may walk 12.
I think like
maybe, right, 10, and I say that because
miles.
Something like that, something reasonable. 50. Yeah. You know how our generation is, but I say that to say because a lot of people actually show out when it comes to protests. Like what was the last protest that happened? I was overseas. I want to say George Floyd. Yeah. Something last year around this time, maybe a month. A month or two off, but yeah. And I saw it in Delaware, Charlotte, of course Atlanta. But folks was blocking off the highways and stuff like that. So moments like that, yeah, they show glimpses of change or of something like that being able to be conducted. But maybe not 54 miles.
And I think there's a lot of, for that to happen, there's too much division for that to happen now. Like, Black folks is too divided from social constructs, religion, sexual orientation, preferences. You know, there's so much division that it's like, back then they didn't have all those dividing classes. It was just, you're Black, cool. We don't even care if you're an immigrant. We don't even care if you're from another island. You're Black, cool. Let's do it. But it's just, now it's just like, all right, well, you're Black, you're Muslim, you're this, that, and the third. I don't know if you fit in our group. We're Black, we're Christian, or we're Black, we're LGBTQ plus. You know, I don't think you're gonna fit into what we're fighting for. It's too much division, man. Too much division to get that solidarity. But tying it back to Martin Luther King, right? So I was Googling some stuff, audience, in regards to Martin Luther King. I don't know if you guys are aware, but do you guys know that in 1999, the U.S. government was found guilty civilly in a court of law due to the having some type of wherewithal when it comes to the assassination of Martin Luther King in 1968. They were found guilty of it civilly. And one came to be, and I don't know if people would know it, but pretty much James Earl Ray wasn't the shooter. He was more of a patsy or a fall down guy. He wasn't the actual guy that pulled the trigger. It was a collaborative group with people from different type of law enforcement organizations, mafia, FBI. It was a collaborative group to kind of set up the assassination and kill Dr. King. But Coretta Scott King, the family, Dr. King, their family, they won that lawsuit in 1999 and won the case to show that the government was found liable for the assassination of Dr. King. And it just goes to show you, like, history doesn't tell you everything because it's just so shocking. Like, that's something they don't teach you in history class from middle school all the way up to high school, that in 1999 this was civilly, the government was found responsible for the assassination of Dr. King. That's something you don't hear, you don't know about. So I think it's something the audience needs to know about, because it's shocking that the government would conspire to kill this man when he brought so much change and peace to the world. You know what I mean? Like Smoove said, he won a Nobel Peace Prize. His campaign was about peace and nonviolence and trying to integrate into main society. But then, hold on, right? Let's fast forward. 1968, when he gave his speech in Washington, D.C., his speech was about the organization of the Poor People's Campaign. People don't know, the Poor People's Campaign was an organization that he wanted to create to fight the economic injustice for all people, white, Black, all peoples of color, for economic injustice, for poor housing, and for being poor. He wanted to fight the government on that and how we could fix that throughout the world. He wanted to pretty much end all that. The government doesn't like when you do stuff like that. So I think that played a lot into him, because Martin Luther King was very charismatic, strong leader, persistent, didn't give up. Like Smoove said, he was arrested over 20 times. And he wasn't even, what was he, under? He was under 40 years old when he died, like 38, 39?
He passed away at 39.
So a young guy like that, not scared of nothing, balls down to the ground, charismatic, loving leader, peaceful, nonviolent, but wanted to do organization beyond the color of his race, wanted to organize everybody to talk about the wealth and injustice and housing situations that are occurring that need to be fixed. And the government needs to step into that. They could have had that, man. They could have had that. Because I think if that was something that would have made a deep impact in today's society. And you think about it, right? What if that campaign actually succeeded? What if that Poor People's Campaign actually made a change like the Civil Rights Movement?
Oh man, it would have transformed the world, the nation.
God, you wouldn't have any of this type of 1% to the 99%. It would definitely have been changed.
Yeah.
To where everybody's eating good, everybody's eating at the table, not just I'm gonna eat everything, I'm gonna give you the scraps. None of that. I think it would have definitely made an impact. So Dr. King, to me, in remembrance of him, he was somebody that was very impactful for Black society, a leader that will never be forgotten, no matter how hard they try, and someone that really took nonviolence and peace to another level when it came to a person slapping you in the face and having the ability to just turn the other cheek and not assault that person. That takes a lot of, I'm gonna take this from my Jewish friend, chutzpah, and it takes a lot of balls to do that, to organize a protest based on that foundation. It's very it's a lot. It's a lot. Okay. And I think with Dr. King, right, we have to understand that in his later years, after, probably before he conducted his last speech, which was the March on Washington, during his latter stages of his life, I think he regretted, he said that he regretted integration. He regretted that. Once it got passed to him, he's like, he said this to Harry Belafonte. This is what he said to Harry Belafonte, because him and Harry Belafonte were pretty close. If you guys don't know about Harry Belafonte, he was an actor turned activist. I believe he passed away.
Mm-hmm.
So rest in peace to him. But this is what he said. Okay, Harry Belafonte asked him, "What was the problem? What's going on? What's wrong with you?" He responded to him and said, "I've come upon something that disturbs me deeply. We have fought hard and long for integration, as I believe we should have, and I know we will win. But I have come to believe that we are integrating into a burning house. I'm afraid that America has lost the moral vision she may have had, and I'm afraid that even as we integrate, we are walking into a place that does not understand that this nation needs to be deeply concerned with the plight of the poor and disenfranchised. Until we commit ourselves to ensuring that the underclass is given justice and opportunity, we will continue to we will continue to anger and violence that tears the soul of the nation. I fear I am integrating my people into a burning house." And then Belafonte added that the statement took him aback. He was shocked at what Dr. King said. So that statement right there shows you that Dr. King had great intentions. He had a high ambition. He had high hopes of optimism. But to him, even looking half glass type of look, half full glass look, to him, he's like, I don't know if this was a good idea. I don't know if I made the right choice. And you got to look at it. Back then, you had different movements going on. You had Malcolm X, who was leading more of a Black separatist movement. You know what I mean? Okay, cool. I would like for us to stay where we are, Blacks United, continue to be in our own communities and just continue to evolve and be greater. And then you had over here the integrationists, the NAACP, Southern Leadership, SLC or something like that. They were more fighting on behalf of the integration movement, trying to get rights and be, included into the conversation. And I think Dr. King was looking at it like, I don't know if this was the right idea, man. Like, I don't know if this is the wrong idea. I don't know if it was the right idea, but I think that the United States as a whole, white America, is not going to be pleasant when we integrate. And it wasn't. I don't think it was something where it was overnight. Everybody was walking into the idea like, all right, Black folks are now going to be in our area. And I think Dr. King is right. America has always forgotten the disenfranchised, the poor. They're always been relegated to the bottom of the pit. And I think that goes to show you that because we're a capitalist society. Not saying I have anything wrong with being a capitalist and living in a capitalist society, because you get afforded a lot of opportunities and you get to be afforded to create your own businesses and everything like that. But I think we do not hold a light or put in perspective that the disenfranchised, the people of color, the low class do have a voice as well, and they don't get heard as often. And I think Dr. King was definitely seeing that as the movement started to progress. They started to make a lot of headway, but they started to go in these towns and started seeing these riots, and they're like, yo, this is not good. These people are not receptive to what we're trying to do. So I think in his later years, did he regret the integration? Maybe, possibly. I don't know. I mean, where did integration got us very far with a lot of things, but I think it also was detriment to Black society in a whole, because it killed our Black economics. Black people don't hold no money in the account in the community anymore. Black businesses are up and coming, but they're not something that is strived to support. And I think a lot of that is due to integration now. With you can buy something from some other place, you don't support your business, you don't support your Black brother, you don't support your Black sister, and it's kind of hard sometimes because everything is so mainstream now. Like you can get something for pennies on the dollar than where you can get it from a Black business, because they have to charge that amount because they're competing with a lot of other companies, and they have to charge that amount because they're a small business and everything like that. So I don't know, man. I don't know. What you think, Smoove? Do you think Dr. King regretted integration? Do you think he was? Do you think he was just like he had second doubts about it? What you think, man? Because that statement is powerful in itself.
Yeah, I don't know if he regretted it, because like I mentioned earlier, I feel like everything that Martin Luther King did was was with great intentions, but he had to come to some sort of realization that it is messed up out here.
Yeah, facts.
It's really bad, and unfortunately, maybe his optimism led. Nah, I don't want to say that, but his you have to have people like that in this world that's optimistic, right? Because if he wasn't, then we might not have known who Martin Luther King was.
No, that's facts.
So, but yeah, to answer your question, no, I don't think he regretted it. Yeah, he the way that he operated was, under the eyes of God. And if that's what, he felt like God's message, God delivered that message to him to deliver, then yeah, he didn't regret anything. That's what he was instructed to do. Right. So yeah, that's how I feel.
I got you, bro. So let me ask you this, right? Do you think the government, even though they were found civilly liable, right? Do you think the government really did not want Martin Luther King to continue with his Poor People's Campaign? Because mind you, he's transitioning from being a race thing. Because people forget that civil rights movement was really for Black people getting rights. All that other shit that came in afterwards, like for Latinos and sexual orientation, that came after. The main issue was Black folks getting equal rights. Let's get that out there now, because that civil rights stuff was for that. All that other shit came afterwards. That's what we gotta understand. But do you think that the government kind of wanted to shut it down and be like, you know what, we can't have this man, talking about equal rights for everybody, he's including our white folks now? Do you think they had to shut it down before he got to a point where he was like he couldn't be stopped?
I think the government shuts down anything that anything or anybody that has more influence than they do.
Right.
You can't have too many chiefs and not enough Indians. Especially if it comes to doing, something good,
right,
for the country. Changing people's morals and values and the way that they view life. That's that messes up the founding fathers' founding plans. You know what I mean? So yeah, they definitely had something to do with it. Got to get them out of there, man. Unfortunately.
And then it's crazy because Martin Luther King was one of my favorite, even because I'm gonna be honest with you, like coming up and learning Black history, he was like the number one person spoken about during those classes. So of course he's gonna be my favorite. They rarely talk about Malcolm X.
You remember that cartoon, Malcolm and Me? I think it was called Malcolm and Me.
Yeah. It was, to me, it was like Martin Luther King was that guy for me, but it was because I didn't know it about anybody else. They would tell you about the people that were not looked at as radicals. Like they didn't talk about Huey P. Newton. They didn't talk about Malcolm X. They didn't talk about what's the other dude's name? Kwame Ture. They didn't talk about him. They didn't talk about all those other guys. They talked about Rosa Parks, Martin Luther King, George Washington Carver.
Yeah.
Those
The civil black folks.
Yeah, like those type of guys. They didn't talk about any of the radicals that really made change. Nat King Turner. Nat Turner. Yeah, they didn't talk about those guys, man. Dick Gregory didn't talk about those guys. So I think that's why he was my guy, because, you know, I really was always given facts and history about him. Everybody else wasn't. And I never knew that he was trying to start a poor people's campaign. That's something I realized after I got older and understand that he was trying to form another movement, just like the whole Malcolm X thing. When he came back from Mecca, he was trying to put the U.S. on trial for violating human rights. He was going to go to UN and be like, yo, they're doing stuff that is violating human rights. They had to get him out of here. It's crazy how it's cool for black folks to talk about black people's problem, but when they include other people, it's a problem. That is wild to me. That is wild. If you look at it, those two black influential leaders, when they change their mindset to something different other than black problems, they gotta go. They gotta get out of here. We can't have them. We gotta get them out of here.
Yeah, well, I mean,
that is wild.
Look at modern times. If you have let's say that there's somebody that's been working for the states. They know the ins and outs of it. And they know that they did something wrong. And they go and tell it. That person's then considered what? A whistleblower, right?
Yeah.
They're exiled, you know, now they're wanted and all types of shit. But it's like, whenever this information does leak out, there's some type of change from it. But I feel like the world needs people like that, because what's the one dude named Snowden?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like if it wasn't for him and his whistleblowing, then the world would still not be hip to them supposedly using personal cameras and, you know, things like that to tap in on folks. That was one of the things that he had mentioned.
Yeah.
So now look at him. You know, he's viewed as he did commit treason.
Yeah.
He
worked for the was the NSA or something like that. He worked for some government agency, and then
he was up there.
He took those secrets and leaked them. For the greater good, in hindsight, for the greater good, but he's still somebody marked for treason.
Right. So, but you know what I'm saying? But I say that to say, you know, that's what happens. It's a pattern.
I agree with you. I think those type of people, even though they're looked at from society as the scum of the earth because they've committed an act against their country, I mean, it's tough, man. Like, it's like a rock and a hard place, like double-edged sword. Like, you know, I love my country as being a patriot, but it's kind of like, well, do I not leak these secrets because they can kind of prevent us from being ingrained into a society that doesn't know the government is spying on them 24/7. It's 365. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I think they did it, but it was at a big cost to their lives. Like, it's Edward Snowden. Bradley Manning was another guy that did that. I think I don't know if he was a transsexual or not. I'm not sure. I don't know. But Bradley Manning and Julian Assange is another one. The guy that did the WikiLeaks. He was a WikiLeaks guy. Older guy. Those guys, Bradley Manning, Edward Snowden is Julian Assange. They're never going to catch those guys because they continuously go into countries that the U.S. has quarrels with.
Yeah.
So the last reported sighting of Edward Snowden was in Russia. Russia's not extraditing anybody. You know what I mean? Similar to Julian Assange, he goes to countries that he knows the U.S. are not going to come and get him because they have quarrels with those countries, or they don't allow extradition. You know, similarly like Asada Shakur in Cuba. Yep. Cuba will not extradite her because they don't have an allied relationship. So, yeah, needless to say, I think, you know, Dr. King was a man that transcended his time and place at that very being of being that type of leader. And I think he's brought a lot of things to happen. Like, who's to say that if we didn't have a Dr. King, we wouldn't have had Barack Obama as the first Black president? We might have not had that. You know what I mean? I think he inspired a lot of influential Black people to come and actually do great things. I think he inspired a lot of people. I think every Black person that's made it in politics or that's made it in a leadership role or that's made it into a governmental role, you know what I mean? Justice of the Supreme Court justice, whoever it may be, they've always been inspired by Dr. King, you know what I mean? Because he's somebody that, even though he was more of a pacifist, he was somebody that was a great leader, peaceful man, nonviolent, but also knew how to get things done. Like, he wasn't a person that waited around. He got shit done. Like, don't get it twisted. The motherfucker been to jail 20 times. You know what I mean? Although he was from Atlanta, he was a doctor. He had his doctorate. He definitely got down with the get down.
And you know what?
you don't go to prison 20 times by just complying.
Yeah, you right.
That's not. You get down with the get down. They come and get you.
If we go, yeah, go ahead.
If they come and get you, you fighting with them, and you, all right, take me to jail. I'll eat that. And he damn sure did.
Yeah, he did. He did. And if we're gonna put him in today's times, bro, Martin Luther King was a real nigga, bro. From the A, went to jail 20 times, bro. Said F the police. We marching, we doing whatever. Nigga was repping the A real hard, bro.
Yeah, facts.
He a real ATLian.
Bro, for a man to walk 54 miles, 54 miles in the hot
54,
sun.
54, bro. 54.
Leading all these Black people, knowing damn well they're gonna get their ass beat, and still gotta be nonviolent. Whew, boy.
That man said ATL, ho. We out here.
Facts.
Marching with me and my people.
What?
Deep.
Bro.
What's up?
Bro.
We taking beatings and all that.
Bro, that's like those type of men, the Malcolm X's, the Martin Luther King, they were different, man. They don't make those type of guys anymore. They don't make those powerful Black men like that anymore. They were different, man. They were different. Even though Martin Luther King was more of a cookie cutter type of, Black person, Malcolm X had a very crazy, all in different directions type of past. He went to jail.
Yeah.
Did his time, came back, reformed Muslim. You know what I mean? Used to run numbers. He did all that crazy stuff. Martin Luther King didn't have all those trials and tribulations, but he went through a lot. He went to jail 20 times. He went through a lot of protests, a lot of being hosed down, being treated like shit, being all that, man.
Which is crazy. Like, it's funny how they life like intertwined like that.
Oh yeah.
That was great. Yeah, that was because like,
and they were similar in age as well.
Yeah, they were. Yeah, they were. They were very close in age. Yeah, man. X came up rough.
Yeah, very rough.
Rough, man. He had a rough beginning. And then you go down south and you have Martin Luther King, who's grew up in the church. The man was intelligent as hell. He went to Morehouse at the age of 15. You know what I'm saying? And then for him, you would think, you paint this picture of somebody that's like that, right? You wouldn't think that they would have a criminal background. Fast forward, the same guy that went to Morehouse at the age of 15 is arrested 20 times plus.
Yep.
Like, that's wild, man.
And it's like, it goes to say, like, them guys weren't afraid to go to jail back then. Like,
yeah.
Nowadays, I'm gonna be honest. You tell me I gotta spend 3 days, 5 days in jail. I don't know about that one. I probably can do 3, 5. That's after they're gonna put you in jail after 3. You know what I mean? You're going to be on your toes when you get in the gym pop.
So yeah, I'm just not gonna go at all.
Yo, but that's the thing. Like, them guys didn't have no fear in their heart, man. And then I respect them for that, and I love them for that. And those are one of my inspiring people, man. Both of them guys, Martin Luther King and Malcolm X. I respect both of them. You know what I mean? Because they were ahead of their time with their thinking, man. Like, they were ahead of their time with their thinking, and they were taken out by the powers that be because of their influence.
You know, you've heard me talk about like Bob Marley and his connection that he had with the Jah, right? Or who is who they call their God. But it's even crazier the way it was with Martin Luther King. And I say that because the night before that he passed, when he was preaching at the church in Memphis, Mason Temple, I believe, and the famous "I've been to the mountaintop" speech that he, was on that night. But one of the things that he said, and I want to read this last little excerpt, but it's kind of like he prophesied his own death. So I'm gonna start it from the beginning, or at least this little excerpt. Well, I don't know what will happen now. We've got some difficult days ahead, but it really doesn't matter with me now because I've been to the mountaintop and I don't mind. Like anybody, I would live a long life. Longevity has its place, but I'm not concerned about that now. I just want to do God's will. And he's allowed me to go up to the mountain, and I've looked over and I've seen the promised land. Now this is where it gets spooky. I may not get there with you, but I want you to know tonight that we as a people will get to the promised land. And so I'm happy tonight, and I'm not worried about anything. I'm not fearing any man. My eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord. That was that. So
wow.
Crazy, right?
The night before.
Now, I brought up Bob because, bro, remember that performance I was telling you about?
Yeah.
And how, he was just really on stage, just having a conversation with God as he's performing, and then a lightning bolt strikes. And it's like, yo, what you telling me? You know what I'm saying? But then, somebody like Martin Luther King, he's had that super strong relationship with God, right? I mean, the man was a preacher. He's right. So for him to be in a church and he's, giving this speech, saying how he really feels, and then the next day, he's assassinated. It's like, wow.
Jesus.
Wow. Some people don't, it's people out here who are non-believers, right? And, whatever. But a higher being, man, look, that stuff is real.
Nah, facts.
In my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with you.
There's signs, it's things just don't, it's, there's coincidence, cool, but sometimes it's more like, nah, that's the universe telling you what the heck is going on, or that this is real. You know what I mean?
Yeah, not everything can be explained scientifically sometimes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Certain things that's like for a lightning bolt to strike in the middle of a stage while performing, what is the likelihood of that happening?
Come on. It just...
It's 1 in a freaking million, 1 in 100 million. Like, that's not something that can occur just like that. You know what I mean? So I think a lot of things, you know what I mean, if you don't have a belief system or a faith system, more power to you. You know what I mean? You live your life how you want to live it. But to me, I've always been someone that's always been connected with some type of, higher power, higher being, God Almighty. And it's just certain things I can't explain in my life, you know what I mean? Or certain things that have happened. It's just like, whoa, like taken aback. So I think, speaking about Martin Luther King and, him making that speech before he was killed, he knew that, like, he knew his days. I think he had an inkling that his days on this earth were numbered. For him to prophesize and say that, he already knew, like, I don't think I'm gonna be here long enough. I think they're gonna come try to get me. And they came and got him. And it's sad because we lost one of our greatest Black leaders to ever grace this planet Earth. I don't think there's been another one since him. You know what I mean? Him, Malcolm X, Medgar Evers, Kwame Ture. There's so many influential Black leaders that we've lost, and it's just like Huey P. Newton. It's just like we have never gotten them back. You know what I mean? And it's sad, but it's the way life is, and hopefully, you know, hey, who knows? We might become influential Black leaders one day, or the next generation. You know what I mean? It all depends. But yeah, man, Martin Luther King, happy birthday. You know, rest in peace. And we say thank you for everything that you've done for us as a culture, as a society. And if without you, you know, we'd be segregated, we'd be separated. But who knows what we'd be like? Who knows if we would be in the same state? So yeah, that's my piece on that. Go ahead, Smoove. If you got anything else to wrap up and say?
Yeah, man. One of my favorite quotes of all time was from Martin Luther King, and it's, "Darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that." So when I hear those words, you know, it's more affirmation for me to be on this peaceful journey that I wish to continue throughout my life. And not everybody can have that mindset or, you know, actually say what they mean. Words like that, you know, that's real. Why would you continue to surround yourself by hate?
Right.
You're gonna eventually, you know, become that. Your mind is going to fester and, you know, start thinking like how the others think. You no longer can think for yourself, and you're just fueled by this hate. But why? Why? Who wants to live like that? Why not just show love?
Right.
It feels good, you know? But yeah, man. Martin Luther King was that dude. Thank you very much. And happy belated. I'm sorry. Happy belated. Happy birthday. And yeah, thanks for all you done.
Yeah, so this has been another influential, powerful, impactful episode from Step Into the Light, Step Into the Mic podcast. It's your boy M DOT signing off. Peace and love with my guy Smoove.
All right, people. We'll holla. Peace and love.
Peace and love, yeah.
Hi.